What's up? This is Wally, and in this video, I'm going to be covering how to become a master in chat with ChatGPT, and this is going to be part one. The first thing I'm going to cover is why. So AI technology is going to continue to evolve and become more used in just about every part of business, including appointment setting, right? So mastering AI tools is going to be an incredibly important skill that you're going to want to learn, and your boss is absolutely going to love you for it. Now, producing chat responses with AI is going to save you time, it's going to save you thinking power, and it's going to increase your productivity in conversations with leads, right? Using these AI tools, all you're going to be able to do or need to do is input the right information, select the best response, and you're going to be able to use that response instead of having to think about each one. Right. So that's going to free up a lot of brain power for you to be able to just think more strategically whenever you're responding to people in your conversations. Now, the most important piece of the puzzle is the prompt. Okay. And so the prompt is the instructions or what we're doing to get the responses that we want from the AI. Right. So there's going to be three main principles of prompt engineering that I want you to always keep in mind as you are using the AI to generate your responses, right? Number one, you want to give specific and detailed instructions as if you were talking to another person, right? The AI is very intelligent, and if you talk to it like you're talking to a person, then it's going to give you very good responses. So this is going to be super important. Okay, principle number two is you want to give as much context as possible, right? So if, for example, let's say that you want the AI to use a story in the prompt, right? Well, then we want to make sure that in the prompt we say, respond with a story or use this story in your response, right? So give as much context as possible. And number three, we're going to use statements like and, also, include, and without. Right. So it is totally okay for in your prompts for you to have run-on sentences, right? Or if you like want to add on additional things to the prompt, it's fine to do that, right? Very specific and nuanced instructions are going to get you very specific and nuanced answers. So want to be very, very specific when we come up with prompts, right? So I want to give you some examples of prompts and how they could be used, right? So number one, an example of a prompt, write a response to the message below. And you could take a response from a lead and you could copy and paste that, right? That's an example of a response, a prompt. Number two, read and analyze the response from a prospect who was interested in, let's say, cryptocurrency, right? So what the AI would do is it would just take the response that you pasted in there, and then it would spit you back an analyzation, right? It would actually give you like a paragraph about the response. Number three, handle this objection. So you could copy and paste, the response in there. Shorten this response. So let's say that you had a response that was generated that was too long. Then you could just say shorten it, right? Another example of a prompt could be rewriting this in a tone. So you could take a response that you got, and maybe you wanna just tune it to make it more witty, right? So you could say rewrite this in a tone, and so you could say rewrite this in a witty tone, and then paste the response as well. So these are examples of prompts, but the principles that I want you to pull out here is based on the specific and detailed instructions to this AI is going to be how you're going to get the responses and things that you're looking for, right? So being very specific, being very detailed is going to help you create the responses and the things that you're looking for in terms of the AI generating the result that you want, right? Cool. So remember that anytime you don't like the initial output of the AI, you can reprompt it by using these prompts up here to get a new response, right? And you want to keep on reprompting the AI until you get a response that you're actually looking for. So very, very important. So obviously we have our prompt principles, but then there's also reprompting best practices, right? So if you're trying to get the AI to produce a response that you want, then there are some best practices here. So number one, being very specific about how you want the response to change is super important, right? So let's say that the AI gave you a response and you feel like it was too intelligent, then you could say, hey, rewrite this in a simpler form, right? Rewrite this at a 5th grade reading level, for example, and it would rewrite it at a different reading level. So you want to be very specific about how you want the response to change. And then number two, we're gonna keep on like reprompting until we get the right response, right? So you can obviously do this as many times as possible. And for three, if you have to reprompt too many times though, then you probably need to adjust the initial prompt or question that you're sending the AI, so that way you get an answer that's closer to the one that you want. And so here are the 3 prompts that we use in AI Agent for our chats. And so I want to just walk you through these right now. So number 1, write me 5 short, open-ended, personalized replies that are sympathetic for the message below, and also include a feeling statement and acknowledgement of what the prospect said. Right, and so number 2, I'll break them down in just a second after I go through all the prompts. Number 2, write me 5 short, open-ended, personalized replies that are sympathetic for the message below, and also have a feeling statement to connect with the prospect that you've helped others in this specific situation. And then number 3, write me 5 short, open-ended, personalized replies that are also sympathetic for the message below. Now you'll notice as I go through these 3 prompts that they're all just a little different, and we're going to get different types of replies based on the prompt as well. So in the first one, we're getting a sympathetic message, right? But we're getting a feeling statement that acknowledges what the prospect said, right? And so that's what we're going to get out of prompt 1. But then in prompt number 2, we say we want to include a feeling statement to connect with the prospect that you've helped others in this specific situation before. So the difference between the two, right, is one is acknowledging what the prospect said, and the other one is a statement that connects to the prospect that makes them feel like that you have helped them in the situation before. And then number 3 is just a more generic, right, more generic reply. Right. So you'll notice that in these actual prompts, we're getting different responses. And the reason for that is because we may have a different intention of what we want the prospect or lead to feel with our replies. Right. So these are the 3 AI agent prompts that we use in our chats. And so this is going to end part 1 of this series. And so and in part 2, I'm going to cover more specifically the AI agent setup, how we set up the chats, how we set up ourselves for success using this process. So that's going to end video number 1, and let's go to video number 2.